Indian tribal tradition fosters sustainability in the face of modern challenges. I am Geeta Vaishnavi. I am founder and CEO of Jammu and Kashmir Arts Foundation. Jammu and Kashmir Arts Foundation has been at its forefront for spreading awareness about various Indian tribal art forms and also doing a lot of research work on various tribal communities all across India. Now I will request Naz to please share the screen for the PPT. If she could go to the next slide. My sincere apologies. Our second speaker is facing some technical issues. He's trying to join us. As soon as he joins us, we will involve him in a more constructive discussion for today. But if Naz could share the second screen. Thank you so much, Naz, for helping me out with this. First of all, we will start with a brief overview of the significance of the Indian tribal traditions in promoting sustainability. For centuries, Indian tribes have helped preserve natural habitats and promote conservation through sustainable practices in farming, fishing, and cohabiting spaces for wildlife. Their rituals and belief further contributes to environmental protection. Modernization has its benefits and its positives, but it can also bring several negative consequences, including environmental degradation due to increased industrialization and urbanization, loss of cultural traditions and values, social inequality and displacement of communities, and the potential for increased stress and mental health issues due to accelerating rapid growth. I would request Naz for the second slide, for the next slide. We go into a glimpse into the rich history of the Indian tribal communities and their sustainable practices. Tribal communities are an integral segment of Indian society, and if we go back from the days of Ramayana and Mahabharata, the tribal people through the country have rich traditions, cultures, and heritage with a unique lifestyle and customs. They also live in harmony with the nature. The earth nourishes humanity. Air, water, earth, sky, stars, ocean, mountains, deserts, and various flora and animals are essential components for this unique creation that comprises their world's ecosystem. As highlighted by Mahatma Gandhi, the father of our nation, our planet's abundant natural resources can meet humanity's need, but not the greed. Most luxury commodities, including expensive clothing and cosmetics, plastics and chemical dyes, luxury automobiles, electronics, modern medical equipment, etc., have contributed to market's attractiveness. However, these advancements were made on the cost of environmental degradation. Naz, if you could go on to the next slide. Now we come to what are the core values of tribal sustainability. We lay emphasis on three core values, which is coexistence with nature, community cooperation, and holistic living. When we talk about holistic approach to the environment, this deals with exploring possibilities and developing the models of benevolent coexisting with all beings on the earth. It does not deal solely with one segment of environment, but sees life on planet as a whole. Connecting to environment and its impact on sustainable practices. Sustainability, understood as a chain of interdependence between individual, society, and nature, begins with self-care and continues with caring for others, for biodiversity, which in turn affords for a more sustainable environment for the individual. And when we see the tribals, we see this as they are coexisting with the nature very peacefully without harming the environment. I would request Naz to go on to the next slide. Now, our second speaker, who has not been able to join us today due to technical issues, would have, elaborated more upon the various tribal arts and crafts. But I'll also try to dwell, into these aspects. Craftsmanship, of the tribals really promotes sustainability. Whatever they create, they take their resources from the nature without harming it. We can see on various tribal art forms, their paintings. Okay, we have Professor Anil Kumar, who has also joined us, and I would request him to sort of share his insights upon various traditional tribal arts and crafts. Professor Kumar, if I'm audible, I would request you to sort of share your insights upon uh, the various tribal arts and crafts. Also, Naz, if you could kindly just go back to the slide which you were sharing previously. Okay, so my sincere apologies for the technical issues that we are facing, and because of which our second speaker is not here. So I was explaining about the various tribal arts and craft and how they really promote the craftsmanship in tandem with keeping sustainability in mind. Most of the tribal arts and craft that you will see are based from various sources that they get from nature. Even in their paintings, they use colors that they are using are also drawn from nature. And I believe that's such a beautiful way of not harming, but creating things which can be, which will not harm the nature or the environment, and which are biodegradable, is one of the key essential, I believe, very powerful aspect of the tribal arts and crafts. I would request Nas to go on to the next slide, please. Most of the tribal communities, as you will see them, they take community-based decisions. They are, their decisions are taken in a way that, they involve the elders of their community. And most of them, they have their oral traditions, which are their, sayings and proverbs and poetry and their various culture, which they carry forward. They have a very strict code and decorum of how they have to coexist in harmony with the nature, and they adhere to it by taking collective decision making. In most of their decisions are based on various aspects of how they can coexist without any harm to the nature. And most of their gods and goddesses are also various deities are various natural god and goddesses they have. I would request now to now go to the next slide. Thank you so much, Nas, for the next slide. Now we face the various challenges that the tribes are facing with, modernization taking place. The challenges faced are basically mostly external pressures. Because of the external pressures of various multinational corporates who want to sort of, go into these tribal areas, extract various minerals, and the wealth that they hold in leads to these tribes being threatened. And what did not happen during the time of the independence was a proper integration of the tribes. we were made to believe that the tribes and the tribals are different from us, and there was a sense of superiority which was instilled in the normal community. And what I believe this has been a failure on the part of the various governments which came in after independence in India, and how they were not able to integrate these communities of tribals. However, we see a lot of new laws and a lot of initiatives which have been taken by the current government to make sure that a proper integration of these tribes happen, and also the challenges that they are facing due to modernization, they can somehow be negated. I will request Nas to go on to the next slide. Okay. Now, the examples that we have of various tribes are the traditional practices, that they, have in balancing tradition and innovation for a sustainable development. For sustainable development. Most of these tribes that you will see, from if we talk about Jammu and Kashmir, the Bakarwals, or if you go to the northeast, the Nagas, they are trying to keep up with the modern times. They are also trying to take in the new generation is trying to go into the cities and get modern information and how they can better the already existing traditional way of lifestyle that they have. So I believe that there is advancement that is happening, but at a very slow and a slow pace. And all the new initiatives that we see are being made so that a smooth integration of the tribes with the modern times can be made. I would request Nas to now move to the next slide. The indigenous knowledge and the scientific collaboration. What we see is there has been, a perception that the tribals, are not as good as we are. However, that is not true. When we don't understand people, when we don't try to understand people, we, believe this, make this bias in our heads that they are not as good enough. If we, delve deeper, we get to know that these tribes have their own medical systems. They have proper procedures, and in fact they are living in a very harmonious way with the nature. And over here, if you see, there are initiatives which have been started by the government also, and one of these initiatives is the Tribal Cooperative Marketing Development Federation of India, which is known as the TriFed. And this has been entered into a partnership with IIT Delhi under the HRD Ministry flagship project to boost the livelihood opportunities and income generation for the tribal communities. Um, Naz, if you could kindly move to the next slide, and thank you so much for helping me out with this. We also, cannot, think less of the support that the tribals have received from the non-profit organizations or the NGOs, and also the government. The acknowledgement and the role of the government policies and the non-governmental organizations in supporting the tribal sustainability. There has been a lot of advocacy for the indigenous rights and sustainable development. Non-governmental organizations play a vital role and a multifaceted role in promoting the tribal development across the globe. Tribal communities, often residing in the remote and the marginalized regions, face numerous challenges such as poverty, lack of access to basic amenities, educational disparity, health issues, social exclusion. In this context, NGOs serve as a crucial agents for change, working in close collaboration with the tribal population, governments, and other stakeholders to uplift their socio-economic status, protect the cultural heritage, and ensure their overall well-being. I would request now to move on to the next slide. Okay, now we come to what are the global implications, the relevance of the indigenous wisdom, and which we are now getting to know, which is in so much abundance. And we are trying to utilize this indigenous wisdom in addressing the global environmental issues. I firmly believe that there is so much that we can learn from these tribal communities, learn from their way of coexisting in harmony with the nature. And by integrating indigenous wisdom, conservationists can adopt a more sustainable approach to resource extraction that prioritize the long-term health of ecosystems. Biodiversity conservation, indigenous people often serve as the stewards of some of the world's most biodiverse regions. Naz, if you could just move to the next slide. Thank you so much. Now, this is one of the wonderful initiatives which has been started by Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, which is Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design, and our second speaker, who unfortunately could not join us due to technical issues, would have elaborated more upon this because he's been somebody who's been at the forefront for setting this for this center. But I will still try to give a brief overview of what this is about. Naz, I would request you to move to the next slide. Thank you so much, Naz. Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts, a Ministry of Culture, Government of India, has set up Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design to pave the way for a sustainable cultural economy derived from the indigenous crafts of India and empowering the artisan community with new designs and innovation. This center, named and housed in the colonial barracks of the 1861 in the Red Fort premises, a site historically and it has historical as well as cultural importance. What is strikingly outstanding about the center is its philosophy to facilitate a self-reliant India, a mission led by the Honorable Prime Minister of India in relation to the economic development of the country. Due to the rapid globalized industrialization and technological advancement, the traditional handicraft sector has suffered a setback. And the competitive market of today, to sustain the crafts and the crafts needs to be molded in a form that is in sync with the evolved needs and preferences of the urban consumer. Therefore, it has become necessary to facilitate innovation in crafts and lead to creation of interesting juxtaposition of cultural skills in contemporary taste. The center does not only serve to reinvent the craft sector, but also provide economic stability and livelihood to the people associated with it. And if you get an opportunity, and I would highly encourage all of you watching today to visit the Atmanirbhar Center for the Design at the Red Fort, and you will see various tribal artisans there weaving their, various art forms, creating their art forms, and also giving live demos. A lot of hard work has gone into putting this center together, and it is truly a marvel when it comes to keeping the tribal traditions relevant in the modern times. Um, I would like Naz to just go to the last slide. I would like to thank all of you on behalf of Jammu and Kashmir Arts Foundation and Indira Gandhi National Center for the Arts for joining us today. Unfortunately, we have faced a few issues. However, I hope that today's session you felt it was informative and helpful for you to know more about the tribal traditions and their relevance in the modern era. If any of you has any question, I'm happy to take them. Okay, Okay, I am delighted to share with all of you that our second speaker for today, Professor Anil Kumar, has also joined us. Um, so we just finished with the the presentation, but I would love you to speak more about the initiative that you have led from the forefront, which is the Atmanirbhar Bharat Center, and if you could like to share your insights with the audience. Okay, I believe there is still some technical issues, but just I'll just wait for another 2 or 3 minutes if just anybody has any questions they would want to ask, and then probably we could sort of wrap up the session for today. Anil sir, you are audible. Just in case if you would want to share any insights, you can share them.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. I share few things. Hello.
Yes, sir. So maybe you could tell the audience more about the Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design.
Yes, yes, I can tell that because see this uh, IGNCA has started, they have two centers. One is ABCD, Atmanirbhar Bharat Center for Design, and this center focuses on innovation in crafts and arts and supporting craftsmanship through sustainable partnership and market linkages. Okay, so the key focuses areas of this center include the aspects of vocal, local, and make in India. So this is the main objectives of this particular center. Center is dedicating and concentrating efforts at promoting Indian handicraft and handlooms, including the tribal arts and crafts, as a sustainable source of income for artisans and a distinctive choice for consumers across the globe. So basically, IGNCA has another called National Mission for Cultural Mapping. This is also documenting the heritage of India, spreading the village culture, art, craft, and the heritage of each and every village, Indian village that are documenting. And after that, it would be able to include those art which are important for tribals. This art and culture, and also to make their art sustainability and market niches, and we are also trying to link up with a lot of industries that are there in the country and to promote this tribal art and craft. This ABS project. So to document, conserve, disseminate, and to promote the Indian heritage, our tribal culture, IGC has called this as central called National Mission for Culture Week, which is administered by Ministry of Culture, conceptualized for the purpose purpose of developing and comprehensive database of artists, art forms, and other resources gathered from cultural organizations in the Ministry of Culture and Communities, and also states of to bring all this heritage on the uh, information technology can enable platform so that everybody can see by clicking one finger of every village heritage of Indian villages. And also we could able to know that every art and culture of every village of so we have 6,50,000 villages in the country, and in this particularly National Institution for Cultural Thing, till now we have documented more than like 50 villages, and we are again 63 lakhs villages. So this is the main aim of IGNC to document, conserve and promote the art and culture, not only tribal but also other communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I would really, we really value all your insights, and you have such a deep expertise when it comes to tribal culture of India. Now, I would just request if anybody has any questions, we'd be happy to take them. Otherwise, a
Yeah,
very, I'm very thankful to everybody who joined us today for the session, and I hope that you will be able to take some of the insights from you and know more about, if you're curious to know more about the culture of India. Visit IGNC website. You can also visit Jammu Kashmir Arts Foundation's website to know about which art forms, all of tribal art forms, all from India. If anybody has any questions, I would humbly ask them to ask. Otherwise, we will be wrapping today's session.
actually, Geeta, you also brought out all the aspects that you have covered. I could able to listen, but could not able to respond you. So, but you have covered almost many aspects of the tribal traditional knowledge, their art and everything. But apart from that, even IGN is also very active in conducting lots of workshops for traditional art and craft for tribals and other communities. And we keep conducting various workshops for students and for their art promotion and for the practices and for you for buying for us and also for documenting purposes. We do audio, video, visual documentation also. And we also call some of the students to practice, hands-on practice for the particular art and craft.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for always guiding me and always being my strength, especially when it comes to tribal culture of India. We look up to you for your guidance, and regardless of some issues that we have had today, I am grateful that we were
Yeah.
able to do a good session. And
I'm really sorry for that. I'm really sorry for that.
also, it's completely fine. But I would just request now that we are pretty much reached we were supposed to wrap up the session by, I believe, 7:40. So just in case if anybody does not have questions, then maybe we can wrap up the session.
Also, one more thing, and also to promote this platform, I can say it also involved in tribal museum curation. And recently, we have curated tribal museum art in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So there is a lot of responses are coming from that. We have displayed all art and craft, paintings, and Chopra art, many other types, like scrolls, paintings, all kinds of their craft.
I would really encourage everyone to, sort of visit the ABCD Center for Design and also the initiative that Sir just mentioned, which is at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. I believe these are, the amount of hard work that has been done by the team is really incredible. And there is so much that you can learn from at both these centers. So, highly encourage everyone to sort of go explore, learn more about your heritage, learn more about your roots, and also about communities, which are, so full and rich with history. So, thank you so much. So, anything that you would want to say more or add more before we wrap up?
IGS is the only group at national level which is looking after this heritage of India. We have one department called conservation department. We also cover all art forms at IGC, and we also give training to the students, and we take all the projects throughout the world. We take this conservation, art, craft, libraries, museums.
Thank you so much, sir, once again for all your insights. And thank you so much for everyone who sort of made time and joined us today for this. Thank you so much.